All right, more feedback. C. Faust says, our culture teaches everyone you can have it now. You deserve it now. Michigan is counterculture in NIL with a pay for performance approach. U of M's approach generates a healthier football culture. And he puts a question mark after it. Yeah, well, if you really think about that, I think you're onto something, C. Faust. Because if it was me in those NIL meetings, I'd say I like the approach and everything that Michigan's doing right now. Everything above board and what and transformational and all that. But how about we set aside a little bit for the very top players? What can we have a 5-star fund or call it a top 100 fund? Can we have that guys could immediately cash in and then and somebody could come back and say, well, who's going to decide who's the top 100 guy? You're just going to take the consensus of all the recruiting sites, and then our own evaluations. What happens when a guy's a top 150 player and he's saying, "Oh, I can't have any money"? What if it is a guy that is not on the radar at all, like Micah Capana, who ended up committing to Michigan this season, or I'm sorry, this last week? What do you say to him? Like, yes, sorry, Micah, you weren't in the top 100 for us. You're already creating, and this is a culture thing. It's creating something. Now, I would counter that argument, which I think is a really good one. And it's one that Harbaugh made at the start about team chemistry and everything. If you're paying this guy, what about that guy? And if you start paying these guys, the 5-star guys, what about the guys that are sitting around saying, hey, where's mine? Guys that are on the team that have stayed around that, aren't, they're like, give me mine or I'm out. So yeah, that can, create some chaos as well in the chemistry. The counterpoint to that is that in the NFL, if you get drafted in the first round, there's a certain amount of money that's allocated out there that you're going to get. And if you're a 7th rounder, it's not the same. Guys understand that. They understand signing bonuses and they get that guys are going to get theirs. And so, I mean, that would be the argument against that. But the part about with the guys on the team and then the guys and the recruits, that is the game that they're playing. And so it's not as easy. Anytime that you just get anybody, some loudmouth, they'll say like me, that's running a podcast or something, it's just like, NIL it, and let's get him over there. Let's pay him up front. And then, and you hear him say negative things about the AD or, whatever. There's more. There's a lot that's going on when it comes down to it. And so it's a good point from C. Faust. Let's take some more feedback before I get to some players that I've been thinking about and in Michigan's chances with them, what Michigan's record might be, and then a former Wolverine donning a alternate NFL helmet that I just saw right before I came on and made sure I got the picture in there. You won't want to miss it if you haven't seen this alternate helmet with a former Wolverine in it. Stay around for just that. Justin is talking Scott and West. If they don't commit this weekend, then they could wait to the game to decide. Scott already said last year's game made a big impact on him. Well, wouldn't that just add to it, Justin? Both of these guys are torn, and they say, let's let the game decide it. I would like that. If both of them were on the phone, or I don't know, yeah, I guess you could get 3-way on there. Jim Harbaugh on one side, Scott on the other, Bryce West on the line, and those guys say, Jim, we love Michigan, and if you guys beat Ohio State, we're coming. As a package deal. Obviously, the other side, you drop the game, we're going scarlet and gray. What do you think, Jim? Jim would say, let's go. Let's do it. He might say LFG. Probably wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't mind it. Let's do it, Justin. AJ getting in, and he's talking Ohio State. He says players are starting to realize that playing for Knowles And the OSU defense is not really a good proposition when they only put two defensive players in the draft the last 2 years, and they have poor corner training. Yeah, I don't, like I like knocking Ohio State as much as anything, everybody, but and I guess you can, however, you want to look at the last 2 years, and we do it for Michigan and what's going on. So, I get where you're coming from here. The players that they have on this current defense, I think they will be making plenty of. They will be doing just fine when it comes to the NFL draft. Do I think, though, that there could be, with the system that they're playing, and that they do have a knock on them, that they're soft and that you can dominate them physically? That's what Michigan has done to them the last 2 years. And if that would happen again to them, the finesse label would be that much, that would stick on them that much more. I do believe that. But, some of those other things, well, you might have a point to that. I'll let you just go ahead. And you made him. Dono's not the one-armed bandit, according to Richard, anymore. He's going to have both of his hands. That's true. It's true. I like the nickname. I think you gave it to him, Richard, so you know where I'm coming from. Yeah, he's also not going to be running on one leg either. He had one arm and one leg he was running on last year when he broke those 75 and 85 yarders on Ohio State. And they have the audacity to come at me on Twitter and say, that guy's not the number 2 back in the country. The one that was flying up and down the field at the Horseshoe. Could have ran for, who knows? Nobody would have caught him. Nobody. Let's do it. Richard likes Michigan's culture. Yeah, I do too. Let's get some more in here. Junior jumping in, who says Michigan now giving relevance to their football motto, leaders and best, and those who stay will be champions. With superior evaluation, development, coaching, leadership, and culture, go blue. Well, Junior, just go ahead and keep that one up there for a while. That's well written and equally well conceived as a post. One of my favorites ever. I'm with you on that.